I'm going to show you how to make a simple racing game really fast, and this is way more simple than I thought. So first you're going to want to make a deck, then press blank, then get a new actor. Let's first make the racing car. So you're just going to make a quick design for the racing car. So after you're done making your racing car, then you're going to want to go in logic, then you're going to go to movement, and then you're just going to add a speed limit. That's the only thing, and I think we'll make it 3 for now. Then head over to logic on the same blueprint, and you're going to create a rule. This is just going to move the car. So we're going to say when created, it's going to repeat in seconds, as little seconds as we can go, by just pressing the minus. Then you're going to say move towards my own angle, and we have this option unlocked because we made it a dynamic actor. So then the speed, I'm going to make it 0.1 because this is doing it very often, so you don't want to make it too high of a number. Then now we're going to make the controls for the race car, because once we place it down, it moves forward, but we can't control where it goes, left or right. So now we're going to make 2 arrows, and to make things simpler, we're going to make it on one blueprint. So we're going to make an arrow facing left and an arrow facing right. And then once making the left and the right, we're going to make sure we know the first frame is the left side and the second frame is the right side. So now on the arrow in the logic, you can say while pressed, and then you can have an if statement here. You can say if condition is met, and you can say here, scroll down to the bottom, if animation frame meets condition and equals animation frame 1, what is the one that went left? We're gonna say here tile actors with a tag, and we're gonna add a tag onto our race car now. This is gonna help our arrow to tell the specific actor to do something. So here we're gonna say just character, and then go back to the arrow and say now tell character to modify the property, and this property is going to be the rotation property because we want to rotate it as it's going in its own angle at a certain speed. For this is the left, so because it's left, we're going to make it move negative. So let's say -3 for now, because what the while press does is basically it repeats this every single second. So every single second while you're holding down the arrow, it's gonna -3 to the rotation and keep on stacking to make it look like it's turning left. And then at the bottom here, you're gonna say add else, and you're gonna say tell actors with a tag again, character to modify the property rotation, and now we're gonna do the opposite. So we're gonna say 3 for it moving to the right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this a little bit bigger, and make sure you press relative to camera. This just means later on when we add a camera, it's going to stay on the screen as UI. Now we put one arrow here, and we take another arrow and then change the frame by clicking here to the other side. So now with our car, when we go in the game, if we press left, it turns left, and if we press right, it turns right. So now it's a fully controllable car. The next thing we're going to do is add the track and the finish line. So what you're going to do is get a new blueprint, and for this is just simple. You can just make a road, so whatever you think a road would be. For now, I'm just going to make a square. So once you're done, you can drag your road and then start creating your track you want to make with this road that you created. To make it easier, you can change the width and the height here. So what I'm going to do is just make it a little bit taller than it is wider. So once I place it in, it's going to be like this. So now I'm going to quickly make my own track. You guys can also make yours. So after you're done making the track, and mine just kind of goes in a weird circle, you're going to go onto this road and just go into the logic and say when this collides with, and you're going to say character because that's the race car, and then same as add the tag, and the tag for this can be anything, but I'm just going to say touch. And basically what this does is make sure the race car can go over all the tracks that we'll use on the finish line, and this is going to notify the finish line to notice if it actually went over all the tracks. So we can just place down the race car and resize it a bit. I'm going to make the road a little bit lighter because the wheels blend in too much, so then it'll look like this. And now for the starting one, you want to make sure you don't have this problem where if you tap onto the race car, you can see that there is 3 collisions once hitting the collision of the race car at the same time. So I'm going to quickly modify the track a little bit so that doesn't happen. So now I customize it, and if you click on the race car, all I have to do is move it a little bit back. There's not colliding with anything. So now let's make the finish line. You're going to make a new one again and make a quick finish line. So once you're done, I'm going to modify the size to 3, as that's the width of my racetrack, and go into the logic here and now say on the racetrack, when this collides with character, which we know is the car, is going to have an if statement, and before we finish the if statement, we have to go back to the track and give it the tag track or anything else, because we need this for the if statement that we're going to do now. So if we go in the if statement, we say if expression, and we're going to choose the first one, and then we're going to scroll down a bit until we see the number of actors with the tag under the functions section. We're going to click that, and then we're going to say the number of actors with the track tag is equal to, and then press the pushing button at the bottom, and then we're going to change it to the same thing by saying the number of actors with the tag, and we're going to say touch, as we made the road, add the tag touch when it collides with the car, and that's what we're talking about just now. And then you're going to press done, and then we're going to say create, and we can just make a text node, because what we're going to do now is say when that person finishes the finish line, they're going to have the ability to reset and get a better time. Once you're done making your reset, you're going to say when tapped, it's going to restart this card. But with most races, you want to go as fast as you can, so we're going to add a timing system as well soon. So go back to the finish line, say create reset, and it's in front of the actor. So when we do the race, there's one problem: the race car goes out of frame. So simply what we're going to do, we're going to go in the race car and say when it's created, follow this with camera. So now when we're driving, we can go around the racetrack with our race car, and before we drive, we're just going to go on the track, and we're going to say on this, when created, it's going to move back, and then add the finish line right at the end here. So now what we're going to do, we're going to test it, because the camera is following the race car, we can see where it's going, and even if it's off camera. And now we're going to drive around our racetrack, get the finish line, and you can see reset is created there. Visibility is a bit hard to see, so instead what we're going to do, so when it creates the reset, we're going to switch relative position to absolute position. This is just going to create it not close by the specific actor that's creating it now, but in the general coordinate space of the absolute position of where it is. Then you're going to modify the Y position to be -3, and then once you made the absolute position and that, we're going to go back on the reset and make it relative to camera. It follows with the camera, and we don't just drive past it. Now when we get there, we have a reset button, and we can click it and it resets us. And the last thing is going to be the timer. So first we're going to make a variable, and you can just press the settings and press on the plus here, and we're going to call that time. So after you made that variable, you're going to make a text actor, and then we're going to say $time. This is because when we use the dollar symbol, it just means the game knows it's a variable, and then we'll actually input the variable amount onto the text. So as you can see, because the variable is 0, it shows 0 on this text node. So now we're just gonna make this a little bit bigger and make it relative to camera and put it somewhere. And then another trick you can do is just add a normal word next to it, like in this example where we said time and then colon the variable. So now as you can see, it looks a bit weird, so all we have to do is just modify the width to make it longer. So I'm going to say 10 and replace it, and there we go. So now on the time text actor, when it's created, it's going to modify the variable what we made, what is time, to be 0, because this is here. So every single time we restart the card, the time goes back down to 0. So we're not going to say relative. Then under here, we're going to say repeat every n seconds, and we're going to say every 1 second. Modify the variable time to 1, and we're going to say relative. So this is just going to say it's going to track your time. So now if we go into the game, it's going to show how much time it takes to do the whole track, and then once we reach the end and press reset, it starts over again. And to make the timer stop once we reach the finish line, we're just going to go back to the finish line and then say down here, it's going to tell the actor what we're going to name now, and go back to the timer one, and we're going to add the tag timer, and then we're going to go back to this text and we're going to say it's going to do all this, but then it's going to say repeat every 1 second. We're going to tap on the modify variable thing here and then say wrap in condition, and then the condition is going to be if it has a tag, and we can make the tag stop, and then we can say the tag timer. So now when this is created, it's going to have the timer, and it's going to go in as normal. Then we're going to go back here. I'm going to tell the actor timer to remove the tag timer from it, but it's basically going to stop the timer once we cross the finish line. So once we pass the finish line, you can see it stopped at 14. So that's a very simple bare bones racing game. If you want to see me making any other games, please tell me down in the comments, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.